Hey Nature Arts, today's learning target is I can practice observing and drawing my vintage fungi print. When I say the word print, I am talking about these laminated pictures. When I say the word illustrate, I am talking about your drawing. Okay, so last time we familiarized ourselves with this and we drew these without my help. Today, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of help to draw these even more accurately. So, first we're going to take a quick look at this, and you guys all have these. And what this is our rubric for the project. Okay, it is a lot, but we're going to break it down into bite-sized pieces. No need to go through the whole thing today. So first thing when you get it, just write your name and write NA for Nature Arts, okay? Right at the top it says skill. So there are 4 skills that I'm looking for with this whole project. Today I'm just looking for your observational drawing skill, okay? When we said observe last time, we said that observing is more than just looking. So it's studying the print, aka the print is the picture that you have in front of you, and you are accurately drawing it. Your illustration will be your drawing. So when I say illustration, I mean your drawing. When I say print, I mean this print. So make sure that you get both straight, okay? So obviously, just like in all your other classes, you can get a 4, 3, or 2, or a 1. To get a 4, your drawing is going to look similar to the print observed. You're observing it, and your drawing, your illustration looks similar. How do you know? It could be, number 1, it could be identified by a scientist. The shapes of the fungi are accurate to the print. And the fungi and their elements are in proportion to one another. So if you're choosing this print, this fungi that you draw isn't way larger than the others, and the others are all shrunk and really, really tiny. Each one is in proportion. If this one is tinier on the print, on my drawing, it's the same size. It's not larger or smaller. Okay, that's in proportion. So if you're getting a 4, you'll meet those requirements. A 3 might look like most of your illustration looks similar, but maybe not all of it. And it could mostly be identified as a scientist. Most of the shapes of the fungi are accurate. Most of the fungi are in proportion to each other. So you can kind of see the difference. 4 is like all of them. 3 is most of them. 2, maybe less than half of your illustration looks similar. So really like only less than half of it looks similar in your drawing. Some look similar, but not all of them do. That would be a 2. A number 1 would be, it just does not look similar. Maybe it looks like fungi, but it doesn't look like your print. It doesn't look anything like your print. And maybe your fungi are not to scale. Some are way too big. Maybe they're all too tiny. Maybe there's not a lot of details. Maybe just the shape of your fungi is inaccurate. That would be a 1. We can all be here if we practice and practice and practice and practice, and we're going to get here, okay? All right, so now that we have looked at that, you are again just choosing a print that stands out to you. So you have a couple at your table, choose together who gets what, you choose which one you want. Okay, if someone has the one that you want, maybe there's another table that has an extra of that one you want, and you can just trade. Today, I'm going to be looking at all of them. Okay, so on the fungi, let's look at this one. On the fungi, I can see what that looks like, but how do I describe it? So the first thing I'm looking for is overlapping. Overlapping is where the artist made something look like it was in front of something or behind something. Right here, this fungi is overlapping the one behind it. And the way that you do that is by drawing your line on top of and erasing. Okay? Second thing is the shape. So this is a fungi or a mushroom, but the shape of the cap is much different. This one's flat. And this one is more like a triangle shape. So you have to notice what kind of shape that is. This shape is totally asymmetrical. That means like it doesn't, it's not symmetrical like this. It might have like a bigger side and a smaller side. Okay, that's shape. Line. Line is like the line of the gills of the fungi that you see. Line could be the little details, the little hatching that's like inside the fungi to show like the direction of how it is. Line might be on top of the fungi to show that it is curved. So you'll add in line, you'll add an overlapping, and you'll notice the shape. And then texture is pretty much similar to line. It's just kind of like those little details that really add in, like to add in more detail to your drawing. Okay, that's enough talking. All right, here's mine. I'm gonna walk you guys through this. So you got your print. We've already talked about it. At this point, you are going to be making your first draft. So you can write draft 1 at the top of a new page. So you've already done your practice. Flip to the next page. You're at your draft 1. Your goal is to draw each of the fungi in the same way that it is. So I'm not going to draw this one down here in the middle or this one down here in the corner. I want my draft to almost copy this, to look like this. I'm not going to rearrange. I'm going to try to draw this as accurately as possible. Okay, so let's start here with this one. I like to start with the top of the fungi and kind of notice like the shape of it. So notice how I said shape of things, like some things are flatter, some things are wider. A trick that you can use to get the shape of things accurately is to actually just use ovals and soft triangles and circles before you go in and kind of fix the shape exactly how it is. This general shape of the top of this fungi is a flat-ish oval. Now, it doesn't look exactly like that. Some of it goes up, so I'm going to draw my line. I'm looking at my print. I'm going to draw a line that goes up and right here. The stalk of it, or like the stem part, goes down right here. Right here it doesn't go flat across, it curves because I want it to look 3D like the print. I draw another line right here, so I stop, jump over, draw it right here, and then all of a sudden I've gotten to the top of the fungi. So I'm going to skip up here and just kind of lightly draw in where it kind of curves down. I'm drawing this line. It curves down. It doesn't make a perfect mushroom like this. So I'm going to erase that. Okay, it curves down, comes around, and comes back. But then there's another line. So it curves at the top, goes down. So I'm kind of like just roughly putting in how that mushroom goes. Okay, so far I've just drawn smooth lines. If I'm paying attention to the texture, the edges of this fungi are rough. So I'm going to add in the rough edges. Just boom, boom, boom. Some go down, some go up. And when I've gotten right here, it needs to go down. It's a curved line. I'm looking way more at my print than my illustration. If I only look at this paper and this is somewhere else, how am I supposed to observe it, right? It has to be right beside me so I know what I'm drawing. Let's make that nice and focused. My camera likes to unfocus. All right, this goes here. All right, it has rough edges right here. So maybe I'll take my eraser, erase that line a little bit so I can add in the rough edges. Some of it kind of goes up like that. Rough edges. I tried to draw lightly as well when I drew my oval so that I could easily just let it fade away. I don't want to draw really, really dark because then when I need to erase, it's going to stay there. Okay. Now I'm going to draw the end or this stalk keep going down. I'm looking at my print. Remember when we talked about negative space? That might help you as well when you draw. Like if I look right here at the background, it goes out, down, over, down, over. So I might even try to use that negative space to help me draw this part accurately. And then all of a sudden I know I'm going to get to the top of this mushroom, so I'm going to add that in. I'm going to start to draw this mushroom even though I'm not done with this one because it is overlapping. That means it's in front. So I have to add it in. Okay, trying to keep things to scale, not too large. If things are like getting like really, really large, I just erase it. That's all I do. Okay. All right, I'm going to start to draw in the shape for this one. Start to draw in the shape for that one. Okay. I'm going to come back to this line. That's what I am missing. So on this, the gills go from the center and out. So there's a center and the gills go out from that in a mushroom. So I want to add that texture in. They kind of curve. They're going to kind of slightly curve because that's how the mushroom is. It's not a flat mushroom. It curves up. Forgot that line right there. Add that in. And then they start to go this way. They're curving. I'm looking. It curves and then goes to the center. So don't forget the lines at the bottom of the mushroom. Here's a little bit more closely. Okay. All right. There's also lines on top. And these lines describe how this cap is formed. So this cap is not like a perfect circle. It's kind of flat, but then it has these like little flares. So some lines should go this way. Some lines should go from the top down. And that's texture and line at the same time. Some of the lines are like really short like that. I know that because I'm looking at my picture. Oops. Let's get a little bit closer. There we go. Little tiny lines. Okay. Now this is part of my oval here. I'm going to erase that part. I'm going to add some lines here. Now let's add in this part. So you can see I've already spent this much time literally on just one fungi. That's what it takes to draw things accurately. So don't rush through the process. Don't go so slow that you get like scared and you're constantly erasing. That's not why we're here. We're here to make mistakes. But you do have to go slow to get things accurate. So be patient with yourself. It's going to take time. No one's putting you in a rush. If you want to be a really good artist, you just have to give it the time. There's lines right here. There's lines right here. Lines even on the bottom. I'm adding little hatching lines. When I say hatching, that's H-A-T-C-H-I-N-G. Hatching lines mean they just go side by side like that to add some texture and detail, to add some lines. Okay. I've pretty much gotten to the point where I want to start now drawing this mushroom. Okay, so this mushroom is not a perfect oval. It kind of goes up like a triangle, so I'm going to add in that shape. And then it does curve around, but look, I see way more of the bottom of this mushroom than I did right here. So I have to add in maybe another oval so that can become the bottom of the mushroom. Curved here, the stem is about this size. Look, there's already a little circle mushroom overlapping, so I'm going to add that in. And now I have the basic outline. Now I can go in and add those little fuzzy lines. If that's what my mushroom has. Some of them are going to be smooth, some are going to be fuzzy. That depends on the texture. I'm going to erase that oval part that I don't need to complete that shape. Whoops. Got to go turn my lights back on. All right, now there's tons of lines underneath here. So we'll add those in after I just finish this one part with the little texture. All right, I got to the stem, so I stop, jump over, and continue on to make it overlapping. Maybe erase right here, so it looks like it's in front. Now I add the gill lines. Make sure they all don't go one direction like stripes like that. Make sure that they, like if this is the center of the mushroom, they should all be pointing towards it like spokes on a tire wheel. But the thing is, we're drawing it from the side, so they're gonna be more like this. It's slightly different, slightly different. I'm noticing where they're curved. Add those in. All right. Remember to add in little lines like this, little lines. Okay. At the bottom, oh, I forgot that part. Okay, at the bottom of this fungi, there is some little dirt buildup, or not exactly sure what that is, but I'm gonna add that in. It's not just a little rough random shape. I have to look at my picture. Goes up over, there's even a little blade of grass if I was really paying attention. And the texture inside that is kind of just like this. There are lines that go up, and there we have it. Okay, so that's so far. All right, okay, for this one, let's keep going. For this one, this is a mushroom that's like sliced in half. So I would start with maybe an oval, and then I know the line's gonna go up like this. But before I drew it, I'm gonna erase that because I just noticed that the stem is actually lower down right here, lower down, and a little bit more to the left. So the stem should stop there, so that can be my guide. Boom, boom. Add in an oval. So I literally drew an oval and 2 lines. Like, that's how I start. I don't start by drawing a perfect outline. Just give yourself a shape to start with. Okay? Then the line goes up like that. And now I can add in the basic shape. Down and back, up. And then it shows the back of the mushroom too, curving around, stopping where the stem is. Now there's lots of little curved lines like we've been drawing. Some lines here, little outline, little tiny like dirt line right here. This goes here. I made that too small, so I'm going to erase that line that I have. Now there's some lines going around. So I'm going to keep using that hatching. Hatching are little lines just right next to each other like our fingers. This goes down, has some long lines, and then they get short. Then there is some dirt on the end of this. I'm going to show this side of it. All right. Okay. I'm going to show you a couple more things and then it will be your turn. So one thing too is that some of your prints actually have teeny tiny little words on them, little tiny little labels. This almost looks like it says right here, it almost looks like it says the word delicious. I'm not exactly sure. It's kind of an old script. So that will be another thing that you could add. So if I was drawing this one, I would try to draw cursive really, really lightly. If you don't know how to do cursive, you can always just look at the shape of it. So that is just one little tiny detail that will also make your illustration, that's your drawing, look even more accurate. Just not forgetting those little tiny details like words or things like that. Okay. On your draft, you're going to be drawing one print. I'm going to show you a drawing of another print just for the sake of our time, so you can kind of get a wider idea of like what I'm looking for. Okay, so if you were drawing this morel mushroom, it's a morel fungi, it would not have that little circle shape like this, right? It's not like that. It is more oval in shape. So I would start to draw an oval this way. You have to look at the shapes of things. So this would start to be more oval with a line at the bottom. That texture is really like different from the other texture. It is almost like, it's like little dips. So I would start to just literally add in one by one. There's little lines in between. Look where they're square, look where they're rectangle. So you could add that in. I'd also make this a little bit more pointed at the top. So maybe I start with an oval, but then I change the shape slightly to make it more accurate to what I'm observing. There's lots of lines in this one. Then inside that, maybe I notice there's some shadow on some of them. So I'm going to add that in like that. Okay, so that's kind of like how you'd break that one down. For the really weird ones, maybe like this doesn't even have a stem. This is almost like, this would be a fungi that might be on a tree. So I would start to draw still an oval, still an oval. Okay, does this look exactly like this? It does not, but it helps me start my drawing. Now I'm gonna notice where it goes up, comes down. It's gonna go up and down and up and down. You have to draw it as accurately as you can. Okay, then the other one starts here, goes up, bump. I notice it's not just flat on the edge, you can kind of see the bottom as well, so you have to draw that part too. Okay, so all of a sudden I've just gotten the shape, and now I would just maybe go in and add some value. When I say value, I just mean like darker areas, lighter areas. I notice there's even some little dots on this one. But that's kind of how to do the shape differently for that one. Okay, any others? This and this is pretty similar. You pretty much just draw your ovals overlapping. And it would look a little bit like this. So this is the completed version of that first fungi that I was showing you. So they have lines, they have the shape, they have a little bit of value, they have overlapping. That's pretty much how you draw it. So, all right, your goal today is to practice observing and drawing your vintage fungi print. Remember, this is your draft number 1. Draw every single fungi on this print on one single page. Use your eraser, but not so much that you can't get anything drawn, okay? All right, good luck.